Hi, I'm AJ Rodriguez, and this is Passaic and Essex Candle Studio. Welcome to my channel. I am a candle maker, designer, as well as a cement vessel maker. And today is about cement vessels, but I am not making them today. I am just coming to YouTube with a tutorial about what I use to color this vessel, my oil slick aesthetic. Now, it's not really about this coloring. I am going to show you this coloring, but mostly about the application of this coloring. I recently posted in two of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, the DIY concrete and candle vessel group, as well as the concrete and candle making and DIY group, about how I did this. I'm going to show the post, or at least the videos in the post, of the jars that I used. One was a blue coloring of the jar that I used, and then the final version of the jar, which was this oil slick coloring that I was going for. And that had to do with using eyeshadow inside of my sealer. I know. Now, I found this eyeshadow on Temu. And I also found this chameleon pearl pigment that you can use in epoxy and whatnot on Temu as well, that I purchased. And I'll show quickly what that looks like. The blue. I hope that is showing up well. It's a color shifting blue-green highlight. They have different colors, but this one I kept seeing months now. I don't go searching Temu for eyeshadow, I promise you, because if something goes wrong, who am I suing? But every time I look for a mold that I'm often disappointed by once I get it, I do see this, and for $1.99, I'm like, I finally got it. And then there was this chameleon pearl powder that's used for epoxy resin, and it's a silica gel that I ended up getting, and it's like a red, blue, gold, some situation. I also will show what that looks like here. And it's also color shifting. I don't know. For a little bit of change, I decided to try it. Now, the reason why I decided to try it is because I have used the mica in my sealers before, and it gives a really nice pearlescent look to my vessels. If you can see that, like, this is like my jar color. I think this is like a toffee or chocolate color that I have, and it gives a nice pearlescent color to it using mica. So I do use mica, but I did want to try this since it had this incredible coloring to them. Now, I did try regular eyeshadow as well once I tried this. Now, to be clear, if you have old eyeshadow hanging around, I mean, give it a try. I did give mine a try. Some worked better than others, but they didn't work quite as well as this eyeshadow that I got from Temu. So I don't know what sorcery is up there on Temu. Um, I don't know. I say the more glittery, the better. And if you aren't aware, when you get really glittery eyeshadow, it's because there is mica in the eyeshadow. So if you have like extremely glittery eyeshadow, that's why. So I'll continue experimenting. I do have some others coming in that's fluorescent and holographics and the other like items, and more of this epoxy pearl powders that are coming in to see what happens, because I really liked what happened, like especially on this light colored jar and the brush strokes that have it. I don't know. I'm a sucker for the weird and abstract, and besides, for a few bucks, it's worth the experimentation for me. I'm a very curious person when it comes to thinking out the box and doing things and seeing what can be used. I just am. I don't prefer asking what can be done. I prefer to just do things as my mind conceives it and seeing if it will or won't. And I always say it doesn't cost me anything to experiment. It may cost a few change, but if if five if $1.99 is going to put me in a poorhouse for experimentation, then this is the wrong business for me to be in. And put it out there like that. I digress. I'm just saying. I don't count your wallet. Don't count mine. I'm I'm full of experimentation. What my mind conceives of is what I'm going to dive headfirst in, and that is the long and short of it. So, moving on, um, I did start with a pre-sealed jar. My method is normally, um, my aesthetic is normally a black jar. I use that for mostly everything that I do, unless I have a special project going on that might use a different colored jar. So for this, it did start with a black jar. I usually say black base. I do mean a black jar. So if I slip up and say black base, I mean black jar. I If you use something different and do something different, that's your business. I'm not here to police you, tell you what to do, or anything like that. If you use different colorings, get different colorings of your eyeshadow, that's your business. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Do what you want. It's more about the application than anything. Using eyeshadow in your sealer is what I'm getting at, not necessarily the coloring. I hope that's clear. I am using, well, to go back, my jar is already pre-sealed. So what I mean is I normally have used Eco Advance, fully submerged Eco Advance on my jar, and I do an interior seal of Earth SafeFinishes quick dip matte on the interior. But for this, I'm doing a preserver sealer, which is glossy on the interior, or I can do a quick dip, which is already glossy. but just because my exterior is going to be glossy, so it's going to match. If you don't use Eco Advance, you don't have to. What you do for your sealer is also your business. I am telling you upfront what I am doing for mine, what I did do for mine. What is important is that your exterior should have a natural finish. So Eco Advance does not have a glossy exterior or any sort of coating, if you will, that would get in the way of another sealer being able to stick to it. I hope that makes sense. So in the scheme of it, you can do Eco Advance and put Earth SafeFinishes on top, but you can't do it the other way around. Also, you want to use a topical sealer and not a penetrating sealer with this, or with your eyeshadow or any of these sort of pigments. Whether you use this or mica or glitter, or if you're using sticking foil on it, any of the like. But in this case, I'm using eyeshadow in my sealer. I'm swirling it around, like incorporating it in my sealer. So you want to use a topical. Difference is that Eco Advance, Rutlands, those are penetrating sealers. They work in the interior of your vessel. They do not change the outside of your vessels. There's no solvents inside of that product that's going to change the natural finish of the product. So the particles are not going to go into the vessel with the product. So it's not going to stick to the exterior. With Earth SafeFinishes, Poly-Acrylics, Mod Podge, those other products, those are topical sealers, so they are going to hold on to those particles, and they sit on the surface of your item, whether it's a candle vessel or a dish, trinket, tray, whatever you are doing. I was about to say ride the surface, but they sit on the surface. They adhere to the surface. They do not penetrate into the vessel. Penetrators form a structural bond in the interior. Topical sealers do not. So they are more likely to hold the particles inside of them, and they will stick to the surface. I hope that makes sense. So for this particular application, that is the type of product you want to use. Because these are going to be candle vessels, I am using a candle safe sealer and a topical candle safe sealer. So I am using Earth SafeFinishes for this particular purpose. Will a wax sealer work? Like Clark's or anything? I don't know. I've never used it. I have not experimented with any. I'm not about to do that at the moment. But you are not above that. So please do so and F around and find out. And I mean that in the very best possible way. I say that for myself. When in doubt, F around and find out. I don't know if YouTube is going to allow me to curse without repercussions, but that is the best thing in life when it comes to having a creative spirit, is to go forth and find out, be experimental, and try things out. I don't know what I know until I find out. And it doesn't really matter what anybody tells me, because I don't know until I myself do those things. I remember getting started and seeing videos, and none of that will ever be true for me until I put my hands into um, the mix of actually doing it. And that's how I feel about any creative pursuit. I will F around and find out. So I did not try any wax products. I don't know. And if you're curious about anything, I encourage you. I think it's imperative for anybody in this business, in any creative pursuit, to F around and find out. Go get the product and try it for yourself. I do not believe in secondhand hearsay. What works for some may not work for others. I implore you to go try it for yourself to see if it will work for you. And that is all I can tell you. I don't know everything, I don't use everything, but what I do use, it is, and what I do know is because I have used it for myself. I have done my research, I have dug deep, far and wide. That is my tangent. I'll leave you with that. So now that I've talked my face off, I am now going to dig into this tutorial for you, and hopefully I've covered what I needed to cover. And if there's anything that I have covered that is not pertinent to this tutorial, that is a topic for another day. And if you would like to talk about that, please leave your comments in that, and I will make a YouTube video for that on another day, but not as a discussion for this tutorial. I hope that makes sense as well. So here's my tutorial for you, and I'll be back. So for this part of the video, I'm going to speed things up a bit. So I am using two different sealers. One is the Preserve Sealer from Earth SafeFinishes, and the other is the Quick Dip from Earth SafeFinishes. Now the reason I'm using that is because the Preserve Sealer is a thick sealer, and the Quick Dip is not. It is glossy, but it's not thick. And I want my blue-green eyeshadow to be the most predominant color. So it's going to sit in the most viscous of the sealers. I want the red-brown shifting color to be more of a wash. And you can tell in the video that it's a very loose sealer, whereas the preserver sealer is a lot thicker. Now they're both going to go on in a very thin layer. Both will be applied in 2 layers, but still thin. But the preserver sealer is thicker of the two, and I want the brown to be more of a wash of a color over the green, and I still want the green to shine through the brown. I hope that makes sense. And you'll see as it goes along that the brown mutes the green, but it doesn't cancel out the green. So it gets more of a oil slick bronzy color at the end. here I'm being mindful to take off any dried sealer that might ruin my finish. I just want to make sure that my application is as flawless as I can make it. So if I see it, I'll do my best to take it off and remove it from either the jar or the brush. And here I'm indicating that I'm about to go and do a second coat. It's usually about a minute in between. And as you can see that the pigment is starting to really pick up for the green, and that's what I'm looking for. God, that's beautiful. I love it. A little ASMR for you guys. Look at that. Going into this next round of color, I'm done with the blue green and I'll be doing the red brown next. I did give it about 5 minutes in between the next cup. I made sure it was slightly tacky and not too dry before I went into the next one. And I'll be doing 2 light washes. I want to be mindful that you don't put too much on this layer. I want it to wash, so I'm using the back and sides of my brush to take some of this off and space it out along the jar. My angle was not the greatest. I do apologize, but that's what you're seeing here. I'm trying to use the backs and sides of my brush to move some of this off and push it around the jar because I don't want it to be thick on the jar. I really want to make this a wash of color and not a coating of color. I hope that's understood. And here, I clearly learned my lesson about being heavy-handed. Light, light coating. I just want a wash of color. Moving it around the sides, making sure that I just have soft strokes, soft, even coverage. It does not have to be perfection. I just want to move the pigment around the jar, making sure that my green is still coming through, and that's about it. And again, it's just 2 layers and we're done. It's a sealer, so you don't need to seal again. It's literally it. 4 light coatings and you're done. Okay, I'm back and it is beautiful. beautiful. It is beautiful. I absolutely love this coloring. I don't think this lighting does this justice. I'll try to take some footage of just the jar, maybe some different lighting if I can. But I absolutely love this coloring. My babies. I almost don't want to do anything with them. It's just gorgeous. So it's probably not the best footage of me doing the tutorial, and I apologize for that. But I guess I'll reiterate that it is basically 4 coatings of sealers. I did use the Earth Safe Preserver sealer for the blue-green coloring because that's thicker. I wanted my blue-green highlight color to shine more. I felt that if I used both with the same sort of viscosity, that the red brown would probably overtake the blue green because that's the layered wash, and I really just wanted the red brown gold situation to be more of a wash of color and mute the green instead of canceling the green, if you will. And that's exactly what happened. It just aided and abetted the green, if you will. It just lended some oomph to the green. It toned down the green and added to the green without taking away the green. Like, I don't know if you can still see it. I can see it over here. Like, the green still shines through. And then there's these swirls of the pinks, the browns, the golds. It's just in the mix. So that's why the quick dip sealer is there. Now, I think you can probably, if you just have the preserver sealer, you could probably get away with just diluting it a bit with some water. But I have both products here, so if you can tell how it came out, the quick dip is a lot looser than the preserver sealer, so using that, it's like a wash of color rather than the thickness of the preserver sealer inclusion. So that's why I did it that way. Now, do you need to do it that way? No. I implore you to do what is best for you. Think of your own aesthetic, how you want to do those things. If you want to copy what I did, this is how I did it. And these are the reasons I did mine for what I was trying to achieve. But I am in no way saying that you have to do that. What is the paramount, or at least what I'm trying to get at, is that you can take your sealer and just add your eyeshadow, add your powder, add your mica, add your glitter into your sealer, incorporate it, and brush it on, and see what kind of effect it has over a plain vessel, a colored vessel. Just see what you get, and you may be very surprised with the outcome of it. That's all I'm getting. I did want to show you some other things that I did. This is a blue jar that I had, and this is the blue-green coloring on top of it. So again, it's just really just made it a chromatic look on top of a blue jar. Love that for you. It's gorgeous. And this is like a black jar that has the blue green on top. And I think for me, I love black jars. You know, it's as black as my heart. And and I just like the way that the shine of the mica flakes and the products just bounce off of a black backdrop. It just does something for me. And this is the Harper jar from Modern Craft Labs. And this is just the blue-green highlight eyeshadow that's on it. And how gorgeous is that? And obviously compared to the Oil Slick final version, obviously that red, brown, gold washed it down, but the green still comes through. So hopefully this camera is picking it up. If it doesn't, like, you just have to see it in person. I don't know. Maybe I might send one to somebody so they could see it in person. It's just gorgeous. I don't know. I've been staring at this for days and I'm still just, ugh. Gorgeous. Just gorgeous, darling. Well, enough babbling from me. I'm going to get better at these tutorials. I know I need to buy some new equipment to do better shots, and I'll do that because I mean to do more with social media and delivering content to everyone because I've been asked a lot. So thank you for rocking with me on this one, and I'll be back with actually more of these because I have new powders that are coming in, and we'll see what fluorescents look like, and we'll see what, I actually have some laser pigments that are coming in, and we'll see what that looks like, if those are winners or duds, because I don't know. Again, I don't know what I don't know until I do it, and then we shall see. And not everything's a win, but there are always lessons. So, happy experimenting to me. But these are winners. I love these. So, thank you for watching, and until next time, I will see you. Bye.